I wasn't planning on starting a new magazine. Sure, the idea had crossed my mind, but I was already stretched rather thin across many activities. A full-time job, babysitting, running a young adult group, volunteering at a couple different religious organizations, and working at an online magazine, not to mention trying to spend time with family and friends. I barely had time for my hobbies. In 2019, my Lenten resolution was to spend at least an hour with Jesus in Eucharistic adoration each week. I had come to this resolution because I realized that while I talked to Jesus all the time, I didn't often sit in silence to let him talk to me. My home parish has adoration on Wednesdays, which provides a great way to recenter myself on Jesus midweek. While at adoration, I use a prayer journal to write down my thoughts, what is new since the previous week, who I'm concerned about, and whatever pops into my head, same as if I was talking to any other trusted friend, often glancing up to look at Jesus in the monstrance. As Lent drew to an end, I decided that I would extend my resolution to the entire year and beyond, as I noticed a difference in my life. I doubt it was noticeable to others, and I can't put it into words, but I was learning to be more in tune with the will of the Lord. In June, a good friend who was helping me learn about different faith traditions gave me a small cross and asked me to pray for the reunion of all Christians, something I was already doing regularly. I didn't realize it at the time, but this, along with other interfaith dialogue, was a seed being planted. Meanwhile, I grew more and more restless as I worked for the online magazine I had been involved with as an employee. At one point in early summer, I outlined the goals of that magazine versus my own goals, and they were rather different. I was also displeased by the structure of the organization, despite it being the typical structure of a magazine publisher, as far as I'm aware. So one July day, I wrote out an outline of how I would prefer that organization to be structured. I didn't have any expectation that that outline would ever be used. It soon became clear to me that nothing I said would change the way the magazine I was working at functioned. On July 24th, 2019, when I went to Eucharistic adoration, I asked Jesus to either give me peace at my current magazine or to lead me elsewhere and give me peace there. I left it up to him, and I went on to pray for more specific people and their needs. Then suddenly I started getting ideas, phrases that were disjointed but spoke to my heart. And behind it all, like a soundtrack, was the song Build Your Kingdom Here by Rend Collective. I wrote everything down, and shortly understood that I was to leave my old magazine to start a new magazine, this one geared toward helping unite different Christian denominations. Before I left adoration, I thanked God for giving me a glimpse into His plan. I knew it was His, because there was no doubt in my mind that these ideas did not come from me, and there was no hesitation, only peace and excitement. Those feelings might not sound like they go together, but let me assure you that they can when God gives you both. As soon as I got home, I sent pictures of my prayer journal as well as my outline to a good friend who I knew would be on board with the idea. Shortly thereafter, I brought on another friend, then another, until I had a whole crew of people of various Christian denominations. Starting with the structure I had outlined, we tweaked it and molded it and added to it. We bounced ideas back and forth, and over the season of autumn, voting in one poll after another until we had the foundation set to our liking, name and tagline, mission, logo, terms and conditions, etc. We launched our social media pages and set up a PayPal account for donations. We chose the name Logosophia Magazine, or LSM, which comes from the Greek words logos and sophia, respectively meaning speech, discourse, and wise, intelligent. Our mission is as follows. Logosophia magazine seeks to create a quarterly magazine and a community dedicated to creating and cultivating connections, unity, and understanding between Christian denominations, under the leadership of an elected editor-in-chief. One October day, during adoration, I was thinking about LSM and thinking and writing that since it is God's work, we should be giving it to Him, or praying, or something before we worked. I asked Jesus to give me a prayer that we could use, and He gave me this. Lord, I present this task to You. May it give you glory. So, when I got home, I threw it out to my team, and they agreed wholeheartedly. For myself, I need a reminder or I will forget to pray before working, so I put it on a sticky note on my laptop. That didn't work well enough, so I made that prayer the background to my laptop, and now I see it every time I open it. The prayer can be used in other sectors of life too, of course, and may be tweaked to apply to more specific tasks. The LSM year begins in November with the voting in of the editor-in-chief and the theme for the next calendar year. I was flattered to be elected the first editor-in-chief. We started posting pictures on the blog in December. We began marketing soon after, and we scheduled our first issue for February 2020. We hope to reach Christians of all sorts and encourage them to help us build a community where people can learn from people of many Christian traditions, as I have learned from my friends in different denominations, seeing not just our differences, but also what we share, and discovering more about ourselves, about our faith, and ultimately about God. It has been an exciting journey already, and I leave you with this advice. When God speaks, listen. You never know where He will lead you.